start this video with a disclaimer because the images that you're about to see are not my own work, and I really don't like stealing anybody else's work. No, the images I got from a website called Retromash, a really good retro website that if you're into this sort of stuff you ought to go and Google and check out. Now, I did email Retromash a couple of times before making this video to ask permission to use the images, and unfortunately no one has got back to me, and I kind of fear that the web page may be dormant. So if you are from Retromash and you would like to discuss the removal of these images from this video, yep, no problem at all. If you just send me a personal email and then we can go from there. Thank you. Right, the Argos Catalogue we're going to look at, I believe, is one of the first, if not the first. It's from the year 1973/1974. Now, here in the UK, Argos were one of the first to introduce this new way of convenient shopping where everything was sort of kept in a small warehouse really, and you went along, filled out a little piece of paper, hopefully they had your item in stock. And they stocks now not the most expensive brands, normally the sort of cheaper, lower end brands, so that also kept the prices quite low. Of course, the best part was having the catalogue at home, which you could browse through before you made your purchase. And especially when I was a child, you know, the Argos catalogue was this golden thing that contained all these lovely items that you would like to own. As time's moved on, what I've realised is these things have become a real time capsule, an opportunity to look back on the things that we used to like to buy and use. And that's what I'd like to do on this video. I'd like to go through the catalogue and just browse back and have a look of the things of the day from 1973-1974. Now, the first thing that's got me really lusting is the camera section. Oh man, just look at this. These lovely cameras. Everything's basically metal. There's no plastic cameras in sight. SLR cameras, compact cameras, even rangefinder cameras. Cameras that are really collectible today were just there. They were all available. These were like real cameras, and it was the same with video. Of course, if you went on holiday, you want to record some video, well, you got yourself a standard or Super 8 with sound cinema video camera. You know, proper camera with a proper clicking shutter that really made you feel like a film producer. And of course, when you got back, well, you needed something to show it on, so you bought yourself a projector and screen and had everyone round and showed your home movies. Something so 70s about that. And it's the same in audio. I mean, look at these fantastic wooden case transistor radios. You have to remember, you know, transistors were a fairly new thing. This came out of the space age in the 60s and Apollo and all that. And here you could have a small little radio that you could walk around, take your music with you. For the younger generation, and none of that horrible plastic inside. Everything's real wood, varnished and aluminium. For mum and dad at home, well, you had the old radiograms. Do you remember these things? I mean, these were huge, great pieces of furniture, but at least for your hard-earned money, you felt like you was getting something that you could keep, and indeed people kept these years. Also on this page, I noticed there's a selection of car radios, because of course back in the early 70s, even if you were lucky enough to afford a new car, which was quite rare, it didn't necessarily come with a radio unless it was a very top model, so you had to buy your own radio out there with the soldering iron and old sort of black electrical tape and fit one yourself. Something else I noticed in the catalogue which seems rather strange today is the range of musical instruments, you know, bass guitars, amplifiers, clarinets, saxes. People really did sort of take that thing quite seriously. You don't kind of sort of see that nowadays. Another aspect of the catalogue is the kind of time capsule thing, you know, how they've set these kind of fake living rooms up to sell the items, but have a look at the decor, buffets and the psychedelic orange wallpaper. You know, you got this couple here, you know, relaxing with their kind of cheap furniture and their fish tank after a hard day at the office. Maybe if you didn't have enough room for the full setup when you had a flat or something, well, you've got this little corner suite here with just enough room to put your portable TV on the side and your brasses on the wall. No 70s abode could be complete without lime green. Check out the lime green walls, the telephone table in the middle, those massive door chimes on the left, those pretty naff pictures, and of course the Z bed. If you was lucky enough to pull a bird down at your local pub, well, you could bring her back and she could spend the night. Jubbly. But of course you'd need something to soothe the girl, and check out these wonderful music systems. This really was the age of the flat top music system. Again, very little plastic inside, wood, aluminium finish. I mean, it may not sound as nice as today's stuff, but I think they were great. And I saw one of these thrown in out on a skip just a few weeks ago. I really would have liked to have brought it home, but they're massive monstrosities. If you was a moody teenager in your bedroom, well, these record players are still really, really nice. Once again, very little plastic, nice wood cabinets. And look in this bottom of this picture here, you can see the old 8-track is still fighting on and doing competition with the compact cassette in these decks. Track would lose, of course, mainly because of the size, but if you really wanted to be serious with your music, well, you had a reel-to-reel player. And even once again, these are budget sort of makes, these are lower end makes, but these are really quite nice. You'd have one of these set up on your hi-fi unit, of course not a stack system yet, and you'd be recording music off the radio and off your records. A collection of your tapes where you needed something to categorise them. Do you remember these Dymo kind of tape machines that used to kind of click out the really nasty kind of white embossed lettering that you would then stick over absolutely everything when you was a teenager? Fantastic, what memories. Moving away from audio, what about other things like the bloody carpet sweepers, useless things. My mum used to have one for hours dragging it over the carpet, didn't pick up a bloody thing, but look how many they're selling. Also, check out the size of these hair dryers. It's like they were a 2,000 watt turbo motor in them. And these contraptions, look on the right, these things that the old women used to sit for hours and kind of like look like they're being irradiated by death rays, but they really were just to dry your hair. Of course, being the groovy 70s, well, everyone sort of smoked. No one really realised the cancer danger and everything else. And check out the range of lighters they were selling. These rather nice petrol and flint lighters. I especially like this one on the tripod stand here. It looks like something out of Space 1999, very 70s. It's just nice to go through this catalogue and just sort of see how things have really changed. You know, like on this picture, you know, these kind of tin bins that I remember that used to rust like hell. And this is the highlight of the page. Check this out. The Watley's Party 4, that great barrel of explosive beer that no one could open. But of course, what you needed was this special gadget if you could get the sod actually on it without it exploding in your face. Now, I'd like a watch, so it's interesting to check out this sort of 70s watch. Of course, LED had not made an appearance yet, but you can sort of see in the middle here, there's a kind of attempt at a jump hour watch, not a particularly good one, but it was there anyway. And also on this page, I noticed there's still pocket watches being sort of sold, and 6 stopwatches, really? Why would you have needed 6 stopwatches? Were they such a sort of 70s fad, along with the sort of fitness thing? So was it to do with the foreman and the time and motion thing at work with all the union troubles we had in the 70s? I don't really know. Oh, this page, check out the lovely clocks on the bottom right there, and those pretty hideous wall clocks, and these little mantelpiece clocks. I think these are really nice, especially that green one there on the right. I mean, very, very sort of like 70s. I'd love any of those. Quick look into the DIY section. Check out the Black & Decker Workmate. My dad had one of these and it was a proper Workmate made out of real strong steel, not like the bendy stuff you get nowadays. And look, the Black & Decker drills, you know, the gearbox actually made of metal casting, not the plastic that of course we get today. Nice to see that some things have not really changed. Check out the Trolley Jack, the foot pumps here, well, they're exactly the same as they are today. But on the right hand side, look at the amount of tuning equipment that you could do to self-tune your car. Of course, carburetors in those days, and if you had 2 of them, they needed balancing. And of course, on a Sunday, your dad would be out there with his screwdriver tinkling with the mixture and idle valves. For all of you young boy racers of the 70s with your souped up Mark 1 Escorts and full Caprice, check out these fog lights and accessories, air horns on the left hand side, and these wonderful chrome radar type fog lights and driving lights and God knows what rear fog lights and anything you like. Absolutely fantastic. Bolt these on your car, they'll go 10 mile an hour faster. It didn't stop there inside you. Well, you had to have, every boy racer had to have a boost gauge connected to your car manifold. And more interesting, look at this, look, wing mirrors, of course, because cars, well, they didn't come necessarily with 2 wing mirrors, so you'd bolt a couple of these on the front wings of your Vauxhall Viva and you'd be able to see what's behind you. Selling things in here that you just wouldn't consider nowadays, like this head restrainer here in the middle that you would fit on your seat, or the massive fiberglass whip antenna on the left hand side on that orange Mark III Cortina. But the pick of the page, it's this rather weird kind of grey metal object, and when I check this out, this is a kind of half-gallon extra fuel tank, an emergency fuel tank that must have gone somewhere between the fuel pump and the carburettor, and a little lever that you would pull out if you found yourself running out of petrol. Absolutely amazing. 70s, it wasn't all about fitting spotlights and customising your car. No, they like to keep fit as well, as you can see by these rather fetching tracksuits here. And there, notice the ball worker on the right hand side. Every teenager had one of those in his bedroom. And this page is totally bizarre. Look at the top, you've got rubber dinghies. Notice down on the right hand side, you've got Webley air pistols and air rifles, which you just wouldn't see being sold now. Check this out. You can even get a bizarre rubber frog suit from Argos. Can you believe it? That'll be the pick of the page. Now, moving along to the toy section, I was surprised there wasn't really a great deal many toys for kids back in those days. Yeah, you had basic train sets and sort of matchbox kind of car sets, but not really much for the girls. And to be honest, until the invention of the electronic toys, it seemed that, you were stuck with the obligatory kind of board games and stuff like that. It appears that kids were yet to have their day with toys, but what I think I like most about these early 70 Argos catalogues is it's just a look back in the past. It really is a time capsule of things that you recognise from, well, your youth if you're about my age. And I mean, take this picture here. Check out the spice wheel and the futon set below it. Oh dear oh me. I mean, I think every one of my aunts had one of those spice wheels in their kitchen. I don't know if they ever used them, of course. So I hope you've enjoyed looking through this catalogue as much as I did. Now, I will do another one from the early 80s so we can compare how things were changing. Now, these do take me a rather long time to do, so let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to see more of these catalogues, yeah, I'll do a few more. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you think it's a load of crap, well, give it a thumbs down. But one thing that I've noticed in Argos is the logo. At least they've kept the same style of logo throughout all the ages. Anyway, that's it for this one. I say another catalogue video will be coming up soon. Cheers, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next one.